Hello everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Finishing up the week here. Went to the farmer's market this morning and I'm kicking back. Finally made a juice. Actually, this is a small mason jar. I made a big one of these. This is not a beginner smoothie. This one is it's not bad. Some people might not find it all that good. What all do I have in here? I have a beet with a lot of the green in there. A bunch of stalks in there. I'm not going to waste those things anymore. So I've got a beet and the greens. I've got arugula, bunch of spinach, bunch of cilantro, and then finish that off with sugarcane juice that I got at the market this morning. So I'm going to split that in half. I'm going to have this one and then I'll have the other one later. Like I've told you guys before, these I just like them for the nutrients and cleaning my blood and just giving me some pumping up my body. I don't count these. I don't have no idea how much calories would be in a juice, and it's not a meal. This is just bonus. It doesn't even count in what I'm taking in today. Anyhow, to the subject of the video today, and this is going to be a pretty quick one. Is raw veganism extreme and obsessive? You know, people accuse us of that sometimes. And almost any time that subject comes up, you know, what's the little phrase? No, raw veganism isn't extreme, cutting things and taking poison like chemo is. Well, what's my opinion on that? Is raw veganism extreme and obsessive? I guess what I would say is it can be. It really can be. It just all depends on the person. I think a lot of people get caught up in the raw just for raw sake. If you really believe that raw all the time is the best, raw is law, do it. But if you're just kind of trying to, like I say this over and over, if you're just trying to be fully raw and you don't even know why, just so you can be fully raw, then yeah, I think it can be obsessive sometimes. I notice this when, you notice it in conversations when, say somebody shares a recipe on social media or somebody is even showing what they ate in a day on YouTube. There's always, well, depending on how big your channel is or how big the discussion is, there's always somebody that's gonna, like put the microscope out, pull the microscope out, and be like, yeah, I mean, and it's total, 95% of the time it's totally healthy food, but there's all this, it's just like I don't know what to compare it to. If something's in my head, I can remember something similar to this. It's like that kid, there's just nothing was ever, like he was perfect, he wanted to know more than everybody else. So, people will point out some little knick-knack within the food, and that's when I think, yeah, it is getting into being extreme, obsessive, whatever. When people are getting to the point of just like, scrutinizing every single detail and somehow trying to, it's always good to aspire to eat the cleanest we can, but to just, and here's another one that it just always seems, and listen, some of these things that I'm talking about, I talk about from experience, because even if I didn't preach them or talk about them on videos, a lot of these things were going through my head, and I was having a lot of these feelings as I've gone through the different stages over 3 years of being raw vegan. I used to do that too. I used to, I remember the first couple of months that I started watching videos and just started educating myself on this lifestyle. I was like, oh my God, I just put that in there. Oh my God. And I lightened up after a little while. We do the best we can, because what a lot of that obsession and just extremism and just having to, trying to go for this highest ordeal, it leads to agitation and stress. And, we're trying to do good things for our body by putting good things in. We don't want to counterbalance that by having agitation and stress in our life, because stress isn't good for us. And I just don't think a lot of people are really enjoying this lifestyle sometimes. They're just worrying, like they're the rule people. They're the rule people, the ones that come out with, well, that, that ingredient in there has blah, 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 and it's been found to, or this one has that, when it's healthy stuff, So I don't know. I think we would do much better, and that's why I think I move around and gravitate to different places online and network with different people as I do, because I just can't. I've got a lot of people that are in my networks and that I communicate with that are not fully raw vegans. And I have to have them in my universe. If I was totally in a universe of networking with raw vegans, I'd lose my mind, because it's just, yeah, there are drama in other worlds. I mean, I know the Raw Till 4 group movement has had its share of dramas, but in general, the people are just, that eat a little bit of the cooked food seem to be a little bit less uptight, and there just doesn't seem to be all the militant thinking and feeling in there. But I continue to be raw vegan, and I do, the lifestyle works for me. Listen, here's the biggest, I could just sum my whole life, my whole channel up like this. It's always just going to be by what's making me feel better. I make little changes, little adjustments from now and then, but I can tell you what's not going to happen. I'm not going to read something or hear something from somebody and just radically change my diet, go against it. Like, I don't go against my intuition. It's, I'm not going to change things I'm doing. And I think I don't know, the more I think about this thing, and this will be blasphemy to different people that are very dogmatic about their particular way of doing it, but I think people can heal, can get miracle-like, amazing results on fully raw vegan. I feel like people can heal, get amazing results on high-carb vegan lifestyle, whether they're eating cooked food every night or not. I just think it's about the purity. And I don't know why I can't just go ahead and jump full in and just say, yes, I endorse fully raw 100%, even though I like to do it. I don't know if it's the part that I just don't really think it's, the reason I don't want to just pound that message is I just don't think it's realistic for the majority of people. And social media bears that out. You see the people that will even argue with what I'm saying right now, and they're constantly struggling with what they're doing because they're trying to hold themselves to a standard they're not ready for. And there's another one too, like the people that are trying to be some people that are trying to be the most extreme version of the raw vegan. They're not even, like, forget about anybody doing it. They're definitely not ready. They haven't put in the time. They haven't cleaned their body out to that point. They haven't detoxed to be ready to eat at that level. And because they continually get the cravings. Listen, the cravings are going to tell you something. Listen to those cravings. Don't, get some wisdom from those cravings. Don't just dismiss them, want them to go away, whatever. Get inside those cravings. What causes those cravings? Analyze those cravings. And I think what you're going to find is if you're having those cravings so bad, you probably need to take a little step back, or you need to use some, you need to use some methods to prop you up at the time. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, like, sometimes I think people are trying to do way too clean a version, too low fat, too pure, too none of this, none of that, none of that, and their body's not ready for it. They may not be in exactly what we're calling the transition phase, because I think there's a couple of different phases here. I think you transition into the raw vegan lifestyle, but even once you've fully transitioned in, I still think there's sort of another transition through raw vegan, where you're transitioning from possibly a higher fat, less clean version of raw vegan into that cleaner version of raw vegan. So to end this one up, all I'm just going to say is, if you're just like, if it's always raw as law, I mean, if you don't feel like you can get any information, any knowledge from anybody that eats cooked food, if everything is just always about raw, instead of health, then yeah, I believe it is a bit obsessive. I believe it is a bit extreme. And I believe when people are doing the excessive extreme version of that, I have doubts as to how long they can hold on to that, how long they can keep doing that. So listen, like I always say, and that's what I try to make the vibe of this channel, pretty light, pretty fun, but just kind of like my life, just freewheeling. It's just like, the biggest factor that'll tell if you're being successful with this lifestyle is, are you enjoying this lifestyle? I enjoy every day. I'm happy every day. I don't put pressure on myself. I'm not stressing. I did my time. I worked through the stages, so I don't have to sit around and oh God, holding on like a dope fiend, trying not to shoot that smack. I remember that, and I don't remember that on this lifestyle. But the way I can relate to people that are sitting around, you know, like at 10 in the morning just holding on, oh my God, I don't really need to eat now, is I used to have those feelings, you know, when I was on a diet, but, you know, mostly standard American diet, but when I was, you know, restricting calories or doing what I used to do back then to lose weight, yeah, I would get those feelings. But now, no. I transitioned my way through, I've gotten cleaner and cleaner, and I can sit around all day. I don't have any distractions with the food. The closest thing it'll come sometimes at night if I'm going to have a handful of nuts as a treat, and probably I do that maybe once a month. So anyhow, just sit back and enjoy the ride on this raw vegan lifestyle. Don't put pressure on yourself. Don't always beat people down and be preaching the pure message and don't put this and don't eat that and this is bad and this does this and this does that. Just chill, folks. Live and let live. Eat and let eat. Anyhow, hope you guys had a great week. I hope you got some fun plans coming up this weekend. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Love you. Peace.